Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to face the truth. No sugarcoating, no excuses. Let's just say it straight. Triple H has failed WWE, point blank. No beating around the bush. People keep asking, oh, is WWE falling off? Is it over? Guess what? That's your answer. It has fallen off, and badly. I've been quiet about this for a while, but enough is enough. I don't want to bash Triple H as a person. I'm bashing his job, the so-called Chief Content Officer. And in that role, he's been nothing but horrendous. Horrendous. Now, why does he deserve the blame? Because on WWE's Unreal show, guess who the star of the whole thing is? Triple H. He's front and center in every episode, every interview, every podcast, smiling for the cameras like he's building the greatest wrestling empire ever. Meanwhile, Raw and SmackDown are rotting away week by week. If you want to be the poster boy for WWE's amazing creative, then you better take the heat when that creative turns out to be absolute garbage. And let's be honest, it's garbage. After WrestleMania 40, things actually looked good for a minute. Night 1 was solid. Night 2 was phenomenal. Cody finally finished his story. Roman lost. The Rock showed up. Cena showed up. Undertaker showed up. It was epic. If someone had told me that just a year and a half later, WWE would be this much of a mess, I'd have laughed in their face. But here we are. Last year, I was warning everybody. I said WWE was going downhill. And if Triple H kept booking like this, it would only get worse. And what did people say? Wrestling Worm, you're just a hater. You're a Vince McMahon glazer. You don't know what you're talking about. Fast forward to today. Now everyone's bashing Triple H. Funny how that works. And don't get me wrong, there are still some diehard fans out here acting like WWE is in peak form. Please. The company is in shambles. If you think otherwise, you need an eye exam and a new hobby. The truth is simple. After Mania 40, there were no storylines to fall back on. Cody's journey was done. Roman's bloodline saga was done. They tried to reignite it for Survivor Series, but it was just a cheap rerun. The Rock barely shows up, Cena's doing his farewell tour, Undertaker's gone, and Triple H, he's got nothing. No big story arcs, no legendary feuds, no unforgettable title reigns, just mid-card filler and the same recycled nonsense every week. And don't even get me started on the booking. The only feud worth watching since Mania 40 has been Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, and even that feels like Triple H stumbled into it by accident. Outside of that, zero, nada. Nothing creative, nothing new, nothing epic. Just boring TV that makes you wonder if Triple H is booking shows in his sleep. So let's be real. Triple H hasn't taken WWE to the next level. He's dragged it down the drain. The man is supposed to be a creative genius, but right now he looks more like a creative fraud. WWE deserves better. The fans deserve better. And until that happens, all we're going to get is garbage, garbage, and more garbage. Triple H has given us nothing. Absolutely nothing in the last year and a half. 18 months of garbage, and to cover up his horrendous booking, all he leans on is cheap shock factor. That's his entire playbook. What happens? Oh, John Cena randomly turns heel and sides with The Rock. Wow, shocking. Except The Rock doesn't even stick around. They only dragged him back to help sell Elimination Chamber tickets because Triple H couldn't book a decent show to save his life. That's not storytelling. That's desperation. And don't even get me started on John Cena's so-called retirement tour. What an absolute disaster. This is John Cena we're talking about, the greatest of all time, Jonathan freaking Cena, and Triple H has completely botched his final year. The man had 36 dates left, the last run of his career, and this is what they gave him. He shows up on Raw, cuts the same, if you want some, come get some promo, gets interrupted, and then poof, he's gone for the night. That's it. That's your big farewell run for the face of the company for 2 decades? Where are the backstage brawls? Where are the heated segments? Where are the creative moments that make us feel the weight of Cena's last year? Instead, more than half of his appearances have been him cutting promos like a motivational speaker and then vanishing. That's not legendary booking. That's laziness. And don't get me wrong, when you have Cena randomly turn heel, then randomly go face again right before SummerSlam, it just proves this is all thrown together last minute. No plan. No creativity. Just wasting Cena's time and wasting our time as fans. This was supposed to be a celebration of the GOAT. Instead, it's a train wreck. And while we're at it, what about all the endless returns? Brock Lesnar comes back, AJ Lee comes back, everyone pops for a week, and then what? Nothing. No follow-through. No story. Just, hey guys, remember this person? Clap now. It's lazy shock booking. By the time WrestlePalooza rolls around, nobody's even going to care because the hype is already dead. And honestly, even Lesnar's comeback at SummerSlam was mid at best. Raw and SmackDown, completely unwatchable. It's the same recycled trash week after week. Let me guess. LA Knight brawls with the Bloodline, or Jey Uso brawls with the Bloodline, or insert random wrestler brawls with the Bloodline. Rinse and repeat. Copy and paste. Zero effort, zero creativity. It's like Triple H found one script and just keeps running it back until the printer runs out of ink. And because nobody cares about the weekly shows, guess what? Nobody cares about the premium live events either. It's all connected. Bad TV equals bad pay-per-view buy-ins. And when the weekly product is this lazy, the championships mean absolutely nothing. They haven't felt important since Rollins' first world title reign, or when Roman was carrying around 37 belts like Thanos with the Infinity Stones. Meanwhile, Rhea Ripley is supposed to be one of the top women in the world. And what does she get? Random title defenses with no real story attached. She's treated like a prop instead of a star. This is WWE right now. Lazy booking, wasted legends, meaningless titles, endless copy-paste storylines, and shock factor moments that vanish in 2 weeks. Triple H hasn't just failed, he's tanked the product, wasted John Cena's farewell, and turned WWE into rerun city. And Wrestling Worm is here to call it exactly what it is. Absolute garbage. Rhea Ripley gets to decide when she wrestles and then brags like, I never lost my belt. That's not storytelling. That's lazy booking, and it sums up Triple H's entire approach. Everything about WWE right now, week to week, month to month, is repetitive, lazy, boring, and flat-out uncreative. These shows are borderline unwatchable. And it's not just me saying it anymore. It's not just Wrestling Worm screaming into the void. Now the majority of fans are finally waking up and saying, yeah, this product stinks. Let me put it in perspective. If WWE charged $30 per premium live event this year, 9 shows so far, that's $270. If you actually paid $270 for this product, would you want a refund? Exactly. Every single one of us would be demanding our money back. That's how little Triple H has delivered. Remember when they hyped this up as the Paul Levesque era of epic creativity? The bold new dawn of WWE storytelling? Yeah, no. Vince McMahon in his prime would body slam everything we've gotten under Triple Fraud in the last 2 years. It's not even close. And don't throw viewership numbers at me either, because those numbers prove my point. Back in the day, Raw used to pull 7 to 8 million viewers and actually compete with Monday Night Football. Now, WWE literally changes its start time to 7 p.m. just to avoid getting flattened by football ratings. That's what we've come to. SmackDown just hit one of its lowest ratings ever, 1.1 million viewers. That's not just bad, that's embarrassing. And then you look at Raw on Netflix. Triple H promised, we're opening WWE to 600 million people worldwide. Everyone will finally see the greatness. Guess what, Paul? They saw it, and they saw garbage. Raw launched at 6 million global viewers, and now it's struggling to crack 2.6. SmackDown on Fox alone used to do 2.5 consistently, just in the US. Now you've got worldwide access and you can barely match that? Pathetic. PLE numbers are tanking. Peacock is pissed because Saturday night's main event can't even break 2 million anymore. Netflix is watching international numbers slide lower and lower every month. You can't spin this. The creative sucks. The booking sucks. The chief content officer is not doing his job. And here's the biggest indictment. In the last 18 months, not one new star has broken through. Nobody has crossed over. Nobody has cemented themselves as the next big mainstream name. Braun Breaker, doing pointless garbage all year. Tiffany Stratton, same thing. Wasted. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, same exact level of star power as they had a year ago. Zero growth. The only mainstream stars you can name are the ones who were already mainstream before Triple H took over. Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley to an extent, and the legends like Cena, Rock, Orton, and Punk. That's it. Ask a casual fan who Codarius Royington is, blank stare. Ask them who Jay Yeatmaster is. No clue. Jimmy Uso, Tiffany Stratton, crickets. That's the reality. WWE is stagnant. Triple H is frauding his way through his creative era, and the fans are left paying premium money for reheated leftovers. No new stars, no compelling stories, just shock returns, lazy booking, and embarrassing ratings. And Wrestling Worm is here to say it loud, this product is hot garbage. You know why late night clips with Roman Reigns, The Rock, or John Cena pull millions of views in no time? Because they're actual stars. People know them. They move numbers. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins goes on ESPN and barely scrapes 30,000 views. Nobody cares. You put Cody Rhodes or Seth Rollins in the mainstream, and the audience reacts like, who? And don't get me started on Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman babbling on ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith. Nobody outside the WWE bubble cares. Back in the 90s or early 2000s, if The Rock or Stone Cold had weekly ESPN or podcast appearances with today's internet reach, forget it. Those clips would be breaking the internet every single week. That's real star power. Fast forward to now, Roman Reigns still feels like the guy. Rhea Ripley, she's big, but more of a popularity star. Roman is both popularity and mainstream recognition, which raises the big question, why hasn't anyone else broken through? Why hasn't WWE built another true crossover superstar? The answer is simple, because Triple H cannot build stars. You can't turn Jay Yeet Master climbing the ropes and yelling yeet for 5 minutes straight into a superstar. That's not building a legend, that's building a meme. It might get a pop in the arena, but outside of WWE's echo chamber, crickets. People don't care. What we need are big-time stories, epic moments, long-term narratives that actually hook you. The kind of stuff that makes you beg your mom for $70 back in the day just to watch a pay-per-view because it was that good. Now, WWE can't even get people to fork over $30. That's how far downhill this product has gone. Look at the roster. Everyone's booked the same. Everyone feels like a jobber. Cody Rhodes strolls out in a trench coat, cuts the same recycled promo, rinse and repeat. Nothing changes. Nothing feels special. And then you've got Seth Rollins out here claiming in an interview that when his career is over, he'll be on wrestling's Mount Rushmore. No. Just no. I like Seth Rollins. He's one of the best in-ring performers ever, and he'll probably end up top 30 all time. But Mount Rushmore? That's reserved for the absolute elite. The Rocks, the Austins, the Hogans. Rollins is nowhere near that level. The truth is, outside of John Cena, the only guy post-Cena era who even belongs in the conversation for Mount Rushmore is Roman Reigns. Period. End of story. And let's stop lying to ourselves. Seth Rollins has never once felt like an all-time great in terms of storyline or mainstream impact. Not once. The closest he got was last year at WrestleMania 40 when he busted his back making that show epic. Respect for that. But since then, nothing. Nada. Zero. Meanwhile, Roman Reigns, every time he walks to the ring, he feels like a mega star. But the second he gets thrown into meaningless matches where his aura gets watered down, his stock takes a hit too. That's how badly Triple H has failed at maintaining star power. Let's call it like it is. Triple H sold us a dream that never existed. The so-called Paul Levesque creative era was supposed to bring WWE into a new golden age. Instead, viewership is down, fan complaints are up, and this product is sinking. He promised the promised land and gave us a wasteland. And Wrestling Worm's here to say it loud, Triple H has failed this company. He's failed the fans. And unless something changes, WWE is on a fast track to irrelevance. Peace out. One love. But remember, this product is trash.